Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin now.
What up? Oh, for sure.
In my dreams, I walk free in the city streets. 2,500 days plus 50 weeks. Doing hard time for these WikiLeaks. Trying to bring the truth out, man, it only gets you weak. And then they gag you. You don't get to speak. And when you get the leak, they try to hit the leak. The masters of the masses, they want this shit to street. That's why my middle finger's up to these sick elites. Playing on the regular.
You keep the messenger.
Free speech is the freedom of press. Take your deepest, darkest secrets, never leave them unsaid. If I'm a thief, then I'm a thief for the people you dread. The people want the red, while the blue you keep them in bed. See the sheep, keep them asleep, deceiving the weak. Keep seeking the leaks till you cease, and I see your defeat. Until I'm deceased underneath a freezer red sheet. Become a dead man, then I hit the switch and release. Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs is your creditor.
You keep the messenger.
And outside my window a figure quickly creeps. They dark as night like some motherfucking chimney sweeps. Whiskey what my Mickey keeps, dying in my kidneys weak. Silence of my risky tweets, what the grand jury seeks. I'm wanting peace, like 7 years in Tibet. Now rest in peace, like 7 years under threat. Cause I released 7 vaults, they upset. They ended the rape sentence, but the US still insists to rest. I guess it's a sin to take the truth and disseminate. MLK to Gandhi, take him and eliminate. And I don't say I'm great, just wanna say what's fake. But if they kill me, a million others will take my place. The CIA's post like a knife the sharpest. All hypocrisy, lies, and heartless. They want to stop me, my life make my heart quit. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. Cause democracy dies in the darkness. You kill the messenger.
You kill the messenger.
Democracy dies in the darkness.
Darkness.
Hi everyone, I'm here. Hi everyone in the chat. Close this down. Oh. Hi everyone in the chat. Yeah, Nikki M. Yes, I will be talking about that. That interview outside the prison today. I will be talking about that. Yeah, I wanted to hug her too, Titch. Yeah. Okay, everybody's talking about. I will be talking about that later. I will be talking about that later. To the person who mentioned Jordan Peterson. Yeah, Jamie Rowe asked about Jordan Peterson debate, and somebody didn't see it and said, well, he got taken apart. He's a neocon who just happens to teach. Isn't it funny how these guys, these worldly wise guys who do get book deals and, you know, elevated by everyone as these incredible thinkers such as Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris, their foreign policy aligns perfectly always with the United States. Have you noticed that? they love wars, but it's a neocon who just happens to teach. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one, mate. The democracy dies in the darkness. Yeah, that was a Unity 4J theme tune by James Devereaux, and sorry, the Severeaux remix by I've forgotten his name now. James Gets It. I think his name is on Twitter. Brilliant, excellent. Hi everyone. Keith Durant is giving a lecture at the moment on Jordan Peterson. You go, Keith. He's affiliated with the Fraser Institute. They were founded by Anthony Fauci, who founded the UK Institute for Economic Affairs, to be continued. Yeah, there's a reason they elevate people like Jordan Peterson. It's been a hell of a week, hasn't it, in British politics? Because, but then I suppose there's every week for the last 6 months or 6 years or whatever it is, has been a hell of a week in British politics. First of all, you've got Theresa May. Last week, she was losing week before last, she was losing a lot of support. What little support she had left, she was losing a lot of it because people weren't happy in the fact that she's having to reach out to Jeremy Corbyn to try and get some sort of a botched Brexit through and avoid the thing that they want most of all, and that's a Brexit of any kind. And Corbyn has obviously been very coy about it and playing his cards very close to his chest. And they are offering a carrot, the Theresa Mays and the Tories. They're also offering him a carrot of a temporary customs union. So essentially what they're saying is to Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, listen, it's a temporary customs union, but pretty much if you win the next general election, you get to, define what you do with it. You get to define your own Brexit. But essentially what she's doing is, first of all, she's trying to say to Corbyn, do you want to kick the can down the road at any point? Because, we'd be up for that. And second of all, that's basically already the agreement that she's brought back, pretty much. I think, other than timeline-wise, it's almost exactly the same. It's almost exactly what he's on offer at the moment. So I don't see basically any Brexit deal coming through in the next few weeks. But having said that, don't write it off. Don't write it off, because this is the stuff that's happened in the last few weeks is pretty much devastating in the last week, especially because, first of all, you've got the disastrous local elections for both parties. I mean, Labour was bad enough. I think they lost over 100 seats. Yeah, the Conservatives were wiped out pretty much. Over 1,300 seats wiped out in the local elections. And people are flooding away from the main parties and flooding into other parties and into independents. And this is the sort of thing that, I've been saying is going to happen all along. People are going to flood away from the main parties, and they're going to look for other avenues and other people to follow, because obviously the parties as they stand at the moment, both sides of the Atlantic and obviously elsewhere in Europe and Australia, etc., people are fed up of the lesser of two evils nonsense which we're being presented with. Obviously with Labour it's a little bit different. We feel as if we've got a Labour, most people feel as if there's a guy there who actually might do something, but he won't stand up and do it, and he hasn't got the power to because the MPs aren't behind him. So there was a disastrous elections for the Tories as well. And this is obviously before the announcement today that, the UK are going to be in the European elections. Now, the Tories and the Labour Party had terrible local election results last week. The Tories were devastated with them, to the point where, the grassroots organisations, they can't hold another vote of no confidence. The Tories can't, the parliamentary Tories can't, because they already did one back in December and it failed. So for a year, they're locked in. They can't have another vote of no confidence, although they're trying to get those rules changed. Some of them are in the 1922 committee. Doubtful that is going to happen, but it was such a disaster at the grassroots level. Grassroots Tory organisations are coming up with their own. They're having their own votes of no confidence in Theresa May to just try and distance her from the party and from them as much as possible, because they know how toxic she is when they land on people's doorsteps. And this is all with the with the European, I shouldn't laugh, with the European elections coming up, and they had a disastrous result in the local elections, and that's without Nigel Farage's Brexit party, which will be standing in the European elections that are coming up. So the Conservatives are in panic, absolute abject panic, desperate to do something. They know that they've got to get rid of Theresa May. Now, Theresa May has already said that she'll leave after she gets a deal through. It looks unlikely now that she's going to get a deal through in time for the local election. So the Conservatives are saying, well, hold on a minute. how long are you going to stick around? How long are you going to be sticking around? We got some sort of plan as to going forward here, because there is no other plan for them than kick the can down the road as far as possible. And this is exactly what they've been doing for the last 3 years now. There's a 1922 committee, I believe, being held. It's probably being held right now, or around the time where I'm live at the moment. That then there's an outside chance that she might actually just, have to resign and be forced to resign by them. I don't know whether that will happen, of course, because she's got alligator blood and she just keeps hanging around. I wouldn't be surprised if she's hanging on there by her bony fingers in 2022, saying no, just give me another 6 months, I can get this deal through. It's an embarrassment, is what it is. The last 3 years have been an embarrassment. And but it's okay. It's all right, because she's going to go soon, but we don't know when. And when she goes, the BBC and Laura Kuenssberg has been doing lovely soft focus interviews with Boris Johnson. So we all know who the BBC are going to be hitching their wagon to as to the next Prime Minister of the country. That's the situation. That's the situation. What is Lexit? Says Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, Lexit is the left's case for Brexit. For instance, I consider I'm on the left, and I believe that we should leave the EU or exit the EU, or Britain should exit the EU. I believe in Brexit. Yeah, Lexit. If it's the left's case for Brexit. It's the Europe is a neoliberal construct, and we're trying to get away from neoliberal construct. It's the neoliberal construct that is driving Eastern European wages down to Western European levels, so that efficient exporters in the north can export and be in competition with China on a global market, which is not good for workers. Great for businesses, not good to workers. So that's one of the cases for a left case of exit. That's one of the arguments for Lexit, and there are others as well, such as there's no chance. A lot of people think that there is no chance of Corbyn taking back huge chunks of utilities, etc., if we're tied to the EU, and because the EU have these rules about level playing fields, they are a bunch of bureaucrats and a bunch of box tickers, and their red tape will get in the way of Corbyn trying to take back the railways and the water, etc., etc., etc. So that's another argument. So yeah, that's our Lexit. The left's case for Brexit. Yeah, thank you, Cheryl Brandon. Cheryl Brandon says, do not forget to write to Julian Assange. Yeah, absolutely. I will cover that in a little bit when I cover the latest. Oh, yeah. I found a drink I love. Coconut and something. Coconut and something. Coconut and pineapple. It's like a virgin Malibu. May can't go soon enough. Says Beth B. I just don't think May can go. I just don't think May can go. I think she's like she's the prime ministerial version of herpes. Once you've got her, you just can't get rid of her. We're just going to be carrying around with us into the 22nd century. Hi, Leslie Steen. All from the USA. Love you too, man. Thank you. Jay Clark says, this is definitely the end of the two-party system. Change up the voting system for our general elections, make it representative. Anything less could result in more kinetic energy, i.e. the streets. This was highlighted, wasn't it, Jay, a few years back when UKIP came to the fore. I think it was 2015, if memory serves me correct, and they had that great resurgence in the House of Commons and got 56 seats. The SNP, Scottish National Party, did in the House of Commons. 56 seats. They got less than 1 million votes. They got something like 500. It was something like 100,000 votes per seat. They got that was all it was. UKIP got 4.4 million and 1 seat. How is that representative of the views of a nation? You know, it's not. It's not. And it was at that point, I think it was around that point where I went, oh, fuck, yeah. It really is, voting really is screwed up in this country, isn't it? It really doesn't matter. I just wrote my first letter to Julian, says Flower Power. Brilliant. I will be talking about that later, Flower Power, thank you. I wrote him last week, and I'll be talking about it again tonight. Coconut and vodka and whiskey and rum, a Yonkers breakfast. Or did he drink of it? I don't know. From Saskatchewan. Hi, Shane. Hi. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. There are a few things I've got to talk about, but I only just got back from London today, this afternoon, so I didn't have time to set them up on this system. But yeah, the Gavin Williamson thing. The Gavin Williamson thing, he didn't do it, you know. Gavin Williamson, I don't think he did it. I don't think he did. I mean, he's incompetent. He's incompetent, sure, and he might have leaked it through being incompetent, but oh yeah, I'll talk about that. You know, it's a video I'm going to drop tomorrow. I'm going to record it tomorrow because Gavin Williamson isn't the person we need to be looking at here. It's another guy. It's Sedwill. It's David Sedwill. It's Theresa May's right-hand man. He's the guy we've got to be looking at, not Gavin Williamson, because there are fucking Orwellian things going on there. Serious Orwellian things. This is, yeah, this is all to do with China, and whenever it's to do with China, you got to really look at the bigger picture. So I'll be recording that video tomorrow. There's another one on the Gilets jaunes as well. I've got to record because a not very reported, a not well reported fact about the Gilets jaunes and what's happening over there with the yellow vests is obviously, I mean, nobody's reporting on the violence that the French police are doing on the protesters. They're not covering that at all. But they're also not covering an alarming rise in police suicides as well. So I've got to cover that video tomorrow and look at all the statistics. They've already, in April, the story was that I saw, and they've already surpassed the amount of police suicides they had in the nation last year already in the first quarter. So, you know, that's, again, they're being forced to do things here, and they're seeing things that are just making them suicidal. You know, that's how bad things are over there. So I want to talk about that as well. And there's somebody I want to get on to talk about that who's very knowledgeable on the France situation, and especially the media and how the media are just not reporting on it. I want to do a little video on Rachel Maddow as well, how she she desperately smeared her. She was complaining. Rachel Maddow was complaining about Google, who own YouTube. She was complaining Google were favouring RT's coverage of Russiagate. RT's coverage, where Aaron Mate, who has been he's been the best, obviously, coverage on Russiagate for the last 3 years consistently. He's been the guy who's been consistently right. He's talking to Chris Hedges. He's talking to Pulitzer. Chris Hedges has got a Pulitzer, hasn't he? So he's talking to a Pulitzer Prize winner. And Rachel Maddow is complaining that Google is favouring He was another reporter, another one of these reports in the Washington Post as well. The fucking media guy, they are fake. They are fucking fake. They're fake. They're fake over here as well. They're also trusted less than politicians. I've got that video to do. So yeah, I've got plenty of videos to do. But I need to talk about a real train wreck of a politician. Let me just bring a picture of this just horrible person up. Oh, I've got one there. So I need to talk about this absolute train wreck of a politician. This is Jess Phillips, who's Labour MP for somewhere in Birmingham, Yardley, I think it is, where one of my friends used to come from. Because she's not my favourite politician. She's a pain in the arse is what she is. I wish she would just keep her mouth shut and just get on with a job. Just one of those people. Get off the telly, keep your mouth shut, and start working for the people in your constituency, because you don't have a damn clue what you're talking about, and every time you open your mouth, you're making no sense, and you're actually turning people off voting for your party rather than turning them on. That's who Jess Phillips is. She really needs to just go into the shadows and just work hard for her constituents. I hear from her constituents they're very happy with her. I hear they are, but she just, every time she opens her mouth, you want to scream. She does her party more harm than she does good. And on the back of the Tories losing 1,300 council seats last week, Jess Phillips decided she was going to go on every TV programme there was on ITV and Channel 4, everyone that would accept her, and no doubt she was on Peston too, although by that stage I'd had enough of her and was avoiding her like the plague. And she was going on there, and instead of gloating over the Conservatives, she was slamming her own leader, Jeremy Corbyn. Any excuse to obviously, you know, go after her own, hobble her own leader. Go after the person that the overwhelming amount of people that in her own party, the largest socialist movement in Europe, support. Go against them and slander Corbyn. It's any excuse. It's always the same with her, because that's what she does. She'll use any excuse to get in the limelight and do some hashtag feminism to somehow bash Corbyn as being an anti-Semite or call somebody else out as being a racist. And she's done it again, because it brings me to the latest. This is the latest. Police investigate UKIP candidate over Jess Phillips' quote rape video. Well, first of all, East Lothian Courier, if that's the status of local journalism in the United Kingdom, then geez, just shut your doors for Christ's sake. There was no rape video. It makes it sound so... It's such a clickbait title. It's nowhere near the truth. A rape video. A UKIP candidate in the European elections is being investigated by police after releasing a video suggesting he might rape Labour MP Jess Phillips. Really? This is Cole Benjamin. This guy. This is Sargon of Akkad. Some of you might know him on as Twitter. I've seen some of his videos. He's outspoken. He sometimes says things that are, you know, volatile. So there's sometimes says things that can cause offence to some groups of people. I get the feeling that he does it on purpose to get attention. I get the feeling that that's the sort of person he is. So he said this about Jess Phillips in 2016. He said it 3 fucking years ago. But because now he's standing as a UKIP MP, Jess Phillips has brought it up again. Listen to this. Carl Benjamin, who had previously come under fire for a social media message in which he said he wouldn't even rape Birmingham MP, posted a video online suggesting that with enough pressure I might cave. Okay, so he said this in a tweet 3 years ago and now he's done a video about it or something like that. Whatever it is, I don't really care. Dragging up the past and Jess Phillips just using it to get in the limelight. West Midlands Police said they received a report of a malicious communication and were investigating whether an offence had been committed. Miss Phillips said she broke down in tears after being told of Mr. Benjamin's comments. He said he wouldn't rape her. He said he wouldn't rape her. If that's how she reacts, if she breaks down in tears after being told that a man wouldn't rape her, how does she react when he says, yes, I would? What the fuck is the matter with the woman? She's making a big deal out of nothing here, but she's doing it on a purpose, and they always do this with people like Carl Benjamin, somebody who splits opinion, somebody who you can cast out as nasty, somebody you can say, oh, he's nasty, he's volatile, he's racist, and especially somebody who's sitting for the UKIP party. You can smear him. Anybody. They get on. Anybody in the media who remotely thinks that I want Brexit, they're immediately trying to smear them as racists. Immediately. They're trying to paint the whole movement for Brexit out as racist. And Jess Phillips is playing right into it. She's sussed it out. She knows what is going to get attention. And this is what Jess Phillips is. Jess Phillips trying to get attention. Jess, do your fucking job. Do your job. Get off the TV, stop, get your mouth shut and go and do your fucking job. Because I don't know whether you've noticed, but politics in this country and the people of your constituency are fucking hurting. Do your job. Because if that's how, seriously, I can't believe this. You're making a song and dance out of somebody saying he wouldn't rape you. And people wonder why. People in the Labour Party wonder why. I don't know why people won't vote for the Labour Party. Why won't people vote for the Labour Party? Well, I can tell you a lot of people out there, the answer will be Jess Phillips. Or somebody like her. God damn it! I hate that. I hate it. But it's like, what choice have I got? She's fucking toxic. Wow. Cheryl Brandon. £300 million is the answer. What could be the question? Could it be, how much money is the UK Home Office paying Amazon to store fingerprint/DNA and facial recognition on Amazon systems? This is going to be another. Well, he's on the board of the CIA. Isn't he? He's on the boards of the CIA. Bezos. I'll check into that. Cheryl, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I hate it, but I mean, come on. Don't give them oxygen, you know? But she's not thinking of doing anything good. She's thinking of doing what's right for Jess Phillips and Jess Phillips's agenda. She's not thinking about what's good for her constituents or good for the country. She's thinking about herself. That's what she's thinking about. But to be fair to Jess Phillips, there's probably about another 500 of them down there that are pretty much the same. It's not just one party. It's not just one woman. It's not just the Labour Party. It's not just it's fucking all of them. I've been doing this now a while, and I've been concentrating on UK politics a while. And you know what? There were hardly any of them I can say, yeah, they're a morally good person. There were hardly any of them. How many MPs do you know you could say, you know what, I think they're morally good? How many? If we haven't got morally good people running this fucking country, guess what? You're not going to get a morally good country. And I've been reading a lot about history recently, and I've been studying my history of this country and other countries and revolutions around the world. And you know what? We're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. And just to show you how much of a bad guys, I want to show you this, because this is just one of the pieces of information that shows you just how bad we are, because this is Pamela Anderson and Kristen Ramson. I can never say his name right, but I apologise, Kristen, who is the editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks, and they were Julian Assange's first visitors, other than his legal counsel, today, a month after he was arrested and dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy. I'm going to play this. It was on Pamela Anderson's website. I'm going to play it all. It's 7 minutes. All I'll say is, look at their faces. Look at their faces.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We can make a short statement and take maybe a few questions. I think I speak for both of us that we are quite emotional after this first social visit that Julian's allowed after having been in here for a month. It is for me shocking to see my friend, an intellectual, a publisher, a journalist, a man that has transformed the world of journalism with his work, sitting in a high security prison, spending 23 hours a day in a cell, having half hour outdoor if weather allows, and half hour to do everything else. This is no justice. This is an abomination. Someone said that you could judge the civilization of a society by visiting its prisons. And frankly, I have to say from my heart that this visit did not reflect well on the society here. This must end. This will be a fight. I can say that Julian Assange is bent, but not broken. He's an extremely resilient person. And I want you to think about the fact that such resilience usually comes from the fact that he knows that he is innocent. He knows that he has done nothing wrong. He knows that he's being persecuted for the simple fact of doing journalistic work. That should be the message that you should relay to the general public. Thank you.
Obviously, it's been very difficult to see Julian here, and to make our way through the prison to get to him was quite shocking and difficult. He does not deserve to be in a supermax prison. He has never committed a violent act. He's an innocent person. He hasn't access to a library, computer, any information. He's really cut off from everybody. He hasn't been able to speak to his children. And, you know, public support is very important. Fundraising is very important. He needs all the support he can get. You know, justice will depend on public support. And he's a good man. He's an incredible person. You know, I love him. I can't imagine what he's been going through. And to see him was good to see him. It was great to see him. But he's this is just misrule of law in operation. It is absolute shock that he has not been able to get out of his cell. It's been 1 month. It's going to be a long fight, and he's deserves our support, needs our support. So whatever anybody can do to maybe write to him, encourage him. He's appreciative of any support that he's received. I think he hasn't received any too much yet in the way of letters, but I know people have been writing. It's a process for him to have any kind of communication. It's very difficult, and anyway, we just have to keep fighting because it's unfair. He's sacrificed so much to bring the truth out, and we deserve the truth. And that's all I can say. I'm sorry. I'm just I feel sick. I feel nauseous.
So maybe just a couple of questions.
Is any questions?
If you have any questions, or
what sort of conditions is Julian in there?
he is not in a. Of course, you have to take into account that the years and years that he was in the appalling condition in Ecuadorian embassy, especially the last year, where he was being basically harassed every day and everything done to make his life there miserable. So I mean, he has, as you could see in court, basically has lost weight. But his spirit is strong, and that's the most important thing. And we told him about our feeling that there's a growing support among the general public and the population, and he was heartened to hear that. And that gives him added strength.
How tough is he finding it at Belmarsh? Obviously a high security prison, and said last week that he's in a cell for 23 hours of the day. What's that like for him?
What is it like for anybody to be in Belmarsh prison, especially when you are there because another country demands your extradition for journalistic activity? It's outrageous.
Technically, he's there for skipping bail. That's why he's there.
Technically, he is there under conditions for seeking asylum, which is an international right. If he was simply serving that time, he would be allowed more visitors. He has not been able now to properly prepare his case, which is of course the most important fight to fight against the accession to the United States.
And of course the news came out this morning that 2 Reuters journalists were freed in Myanmar, a country which ranks 137th on the World Press Freedom Index. So why is it that Myanmar can free 2 journalists, but the UK finds so much difficulty in freeing Julian Assange?
Well, that's a good question. You should probably ask that ask the UK government why that is.
It's an excellent point. There's only a few seconds of that left, but it's an excellent point. You know, those 2 journalists have just been released from Myanmar. You know, our government is locking a journalist up there in our Guantanamo Bay for telling the truth. This is something that the BBC never fucking tell you. This is the BBC never fucking tell you. They never frame it like this. I've got a video that I'm going to do on it. But they, you know, for instance, they talked. They even did an article, a full article, on Moreno's and Ecuador's accusations that WikiLeaks were surveilling them. They did a full article on that. Totally ignored that days before, Kristen Herranson had held a press conference showing and proving that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was under 24/7 surveillance. Under total 100%, all of his time surveillance, including doctor's visits where he's getting, you know, if he's having a physical, you know, all recorded. They ignored that story, but published the story that Ecuador leaked without any proof, obviously, of it. WikiLeaks had the proof, ignored that. If people know, and I've been speaking to people who, I've been asking people, I asked my hairdresser and stuff like that, what do they know about them? What do they know about Julian Assange? If they know nothing, and honestly, the majority of people out there know nothing, they do not understand who, he's the WikiLeaks guy or whatever. They don't understand the connotations of them. If you sit down and you say to them, this is free speech, this is freedom of the press, without this, do you realise that we wouldn't know anything? Do you think we should know about, you know, things like journalists getting shot, and we should know about, you know, things like torture programs, and we should know about the conditions of Guantanamo Bay, and we should know about, I don't know, the fact that a Navy guy, a regular guy, could just walk onto a nuclear submarine in this country, which WikiLeaks told us about a few years ago. Just walked onto a... We could just walk onto a nuclear submarine. They provide a public service for the world. We wouldn't know anything about that. We wouldn't know about the spying. We wouldn't know about we wouldn't know about Hillary Clinton rigging the primary against Bernie Sanders. We wouldn't know any of it. This is how important it is. And once you tell people, they get angry. So start talking to people, start telling people. If you can, please do as Pamela said there, writing a letter. I bought some stamps today so I can finally send that. And also, I'm going to send my second letter to my MP because she's ignored me twice. I want to get her on the record as to supporting Assange. You should too. Get onto your MP. Phone them. You can go on the website, on the government website, and actually get the office details. Give them a call. Be polite. So I want to find out where you stand on Julian Assange. I want to find out where you stand on freedom of the press. I want to know where you stand on journalists exposing war criminals, and then those same war criminals putting them in jail and saying nobody is above the law. Frame it like that. Get on to them. She's ignored me twice. I'm getting onto her again tomorrow. I'm going to keep sending a letter a fucking day if I have to, until that woman actually responds to me. I suggest you do too with your own MP. Because you saw the faces of Pamela Anderson and Kristen there. They were horrified as to what they've seen. That's somebody they love. And if it's somebody you loved in there, pretty sure you'd be feeling as bad as they are right now. He's never, ever told us anything but the truth. He's got a 100% accurate reporting. No other journalism outfit out there can even come close to that. Please write to your MP. Please write to Julian as well and show your support. And please start getting active as you can. Talk to people. Talk to people. Tell them how important this is. Honestly, I fear humanity is at stake if we don't stand up for him. It's that important. Thanks everyone. Right, I'm gonna get off. Like I say, I only came back from London this morning, so I've got plenty to do tomorrow. There is, Jamie. There is hope for humanity. There is hope. If there wasn't, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be having my feet up somewhere. I'd have my trotters up, as Danny Doe would say. I'd have my trotters up somewhere. Right, everyone. Thanks very much for all your support. I desperately need your support. I really do. Things are tight. I really need your support, and I appreciate it. Yeah, there's lots coming up in the next few weeks, so stay tuned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for support. I love you all. Peace. Take care.